Hey, what's up guys? I want to talk about my deck. It's green-white, mid-range. We got 4 Temple Gardens, 9 plains, and 10 forests. Tokens. I need some voice tokens. Anyways, the mana ramp I have is 4 Elvish Mystics and 3 Sylvan Carrotids. Some people will run more aggro, and I don't believe they have any of the Carrotids. Instead they'll have Experiment 1s. Which works good too, but I like more mana ramped to get into like Groot Collar of Beast, which some of these decks will not run. I don't know why not. I think he's great. I actually want to get at least one more of him for this deck, and I might replace the Ajani with him. I'm not sure. I might even go 3 Grooks. So this deck is not finished by any means, but this is what I'm running for now. So yeah, all the mana ramp. Fleecemane Lion, he's great, obviously. I almost want to just wait until turn 7 just so you can drop him and get him monstrous right away. And that's, we can kind of do that because we have so many creatures we're going to be playing early. And the mana ramp, we can get to 7 mana pretty quick, and we'll have other things to drop. Voice of Resurgence, locks it on Smiter, and then Advent of the Worm, and by then you have 7 mana to drop a Fleecemane Lion and monstrous him. So sometimes he's just a 7-drop really. But Voice of Resurgence, 4 of them. You should know why by now. Just sweet. Him with Tristani's good. Obviously they'll kill your voice. Token comes in. Trigger life gain off Tristani, so that's real nice. And there was a time I had a game where I had, I think, 2 or 3 Voice of Resurgence out with this Tristani, and it was just sick. Scavenging Ooze, great in any deck, but really good with Archangel of Thune trigger. I mean, if you're gonna run Archangel of Thune, you gotta have Scavenging Ooze pretty much. So Boonstainer is really good. Love to drop him on a Fleecemane Lion. Haven't done it yet, but and again, because we have so many good early drops, Boonstainer is almost always a 5-drop. He's just always a 5-drop bestow. So yeah, don't even just ignore the 3-drop. But it's nice to have it because I guess there are times where you'll get screwed. Obviously, this is Magic the Gathering, a card game, so locks it on Smiter on turn 2. I'm sure you all know he's great. Obviously against blue decks too, very good. Like I said, I haven't used the Ajani actually in a deck, but I will be this Friday, tomorrow, so interesting to see how he'll do. Advent of the Worms is awesome. No explaining there needed, obviously. You can make a token with Tristani and trigger life gain for 5, which is amazing. Archangel of Thune. You have Tristani on the board, you drop an Archangel, get the life gain trigger and all the counters. So that's sweet. Mistcutter Hydra. Most people run him sideboard. I have 1 main board just because I want to see how he does. I like him so far. I'll try to hold him in my hand till late game and then drop whatever 6/6 I've had. So I do have another one in the sideboard just because he's so good against blue. So I think I pretty much covered all that. Excuse me. How all that interacts. Selesnya Charms are good. I have another one on the sideboard I bring in against like Desecration Demon decks. Things that are going to have big creatures that I don't want to deal with. So yeah, I hope I explained that okay. Any questions you can always ask. So moving on to the sideboard. 4 Banisher Priests, in case we're playing another creature heavy deck. We want some removal. And I don't want any removal that isn't a creature, because then I won't be able to pick them up off Garruk. So I run Banisher Priest as my removal. Not the best form of removal, but it's pretty good. 3 Rootbound Defenses, or Born Defenses, sorry. Obviously this is for control decks. Chance you could populate, but more importantly, making your creatures indestructible. I have 1 God's Willing for now. I might add another one. Gain protection, obviously, against control decks. Another Selesnya Charm, like I said. Just good against other creature decks. Good in general, really. Just, if you need to drop a 2/2, okay. Also, of course, the +2/+2 is always nice in Trample. Another Mistcutter Hydra against control decks. He's good, but I just don't want 2 of them main. I actually had a game where I had a Garruk Collar of Beast out, and I had sifted through all of my creatures. I had ultimated my Garruk, so I could play a creature and then get a creature out of my deck and put him into play. And I had somehow emptied my entire deck. I think I had like 25 cards left, but I emptied my entire deck of creatures. So The only thing I had left in there was 2 Mistcutter Hydras, and you can't take a Mistcutter Hydra and put him into play. He would just be a 0/0, so yeah. I have a bow in here for now. I don't think I'm going to keep it in here. It's just so versatile. I want to try it out. Honestly, I haven't even brought it in, so I was thinking maybe a control deck he'd be okay in against, you know. Control decks aren't going to run much artifact removal, I guess Detention Sphere, but a Pithing Needle, obviously we got to bring him in against other Planeswalkers we don't want to deal with. If, you know, we have no Planeswalker removal, so that'd do good against Planeswalkers or even other big creatures we can't deal with. Unflinching Courage is a great card you could run main board. I don't, because I have the Color of Beasts I really want to get out. And even though I only have 1 right now, so it'd probably actually be a good idea for me to bring him in. But when I get another 1, or maybe, you know, 2 more, it's definitely not going to be anything I want to run. I just want to run all creatures, but it's, you know, it's a great card. So there's my deck. Any questions, just ask. With creatures, you know, you're just dropping them and turning them sideways, so I don't think there's a lot of explaining to do, but yeah. So far I've played 2 tournaments with it. The first one was actually before rotation, and I didn't have anything before rotation as I'm just getting back into Magic, and I just didn't see any point in investing cards from Innistrad when they were about to rotate out, and it wasn't anything that I wanted to keep long term, so I didn't do very good in that tournament. Played against Junk Reanimator, and I actually only had 2 Scavenging Oozes then, so I do have another Scavenging Ooze that I was thinking about putting back in here. I don't know. I mean, there's just so many choices. But this is what I have now, so if you think I should switch something out, let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.